Daily prayer, my beloved children. In this world filled with distractions and noise, I invite you to draw near to me. In the stillness of daily prayer, you will find your heart refreshed, your spirit renewed, and your soul strengthened. This is not a mere ritual or tradition, but a vital connection that nourishes your very being. Each moment of prayer is an opportunity for you to walk with the Father, to hear my voice, and to receive the blessings of heaven. Let prayer become the foundation of your life, for in these moments, you will discover my presence with you, always and forever. Let us begin this journey together, for through daily prayer. Introduction. The power of daily prayer. Jesus speaks. My beloved children, daily prayer is the breath of your spiritual life. Through prayer, you draw near to me and strengthen your relationship with God. Elaboration. Introduce the concept of daily prayer as an essential practice for spiritual growth and connection to the divine. It is through these moments of prayer that you are reminded of God's presence and love. 1. Introduction. The power of daily prayer. Jesus speaks. My beloved children, daily prayer is the breath of your spiritual life. Through prayer, you draw near to me and strengthen your relationship with God. Elaboration. Daily prayer is the foundation of your spiritual life. Just as you need air to breathe, your soul needs prayer to stay alive. Through prayer, you are reminded of my presence, of my love for you, and of your connection to the divine. Prayer is not just about speaking words. It is about opening your heart to me and allowing my love to fill your spirit. 2. The importance of daily prayer. Jesus says, just as you eat and drink every day to nourish your body, prayer nourishes your soul. It is through daily prayer that you draw strength, peace, and clarity from my Father. The more you pray, the closer you come to God. Elaboration. Daily prayer is a vital practice that shapes your spiritual health. Each day that you come to me in prayer, you open your heart to receive grace and healing. Prayer invites God's presence into your life and gives you the strength to face the challenges of each day. 3. Prayer as a reminder of God's presence. Jesus teaches, in prayer, you acknowledge my presence in your life. When you pray, you invite me into your heart and soul. I am with you, always, ready to listen, to heal, to love. Elaboration. Prayer is the means through which you connect with God. It is in these quiet moments of conversation with me that you are reminded of my constant love for you. Through daily prayer, you are not alone. You are surrounded by my peace and my presence. 4. Strengthening your relationship with God through prayer. Jesus encourages, let prayer be the foundation of your day. Begin and end each day with me in your thoughts, in your heart, and in your prayers. Elaboration. Every prayer you say strengthens the bond between you and God. In these moments of daily prayer, you build a relationship based on trust, love, and openness. Through this relationship, you grow spiritually, drawing closer to God's will for your life. 5. Prayer as a source of strength and comfort. Jesus promises, in your prayers, you will find strength for the journey ahead. When you are weary, come to me in prayer, and I will give you rest. Elaboration. Prayer is a source of divine strength. In moments of difficulty or sorrow, it is through prayer that you receive the comfort and peace that surpasses understanding. You are never alone in your struggles, for I walk beside you every step of the way. 6. Daily prayer as a practice of gratitude. Jesus says, in prayer, give thanks for the blessings of the day, for every gift is from my Father above. Elaboration. Daily prayer is also an opportunity to express gratitude. By acknowledging the blessings in your life, both big and small, you open your heart to receive even more. Gratitude in prayer strengthens your relationship with God and keeps you mindful of His goodness and love. 7. Conclusion: embracing daily prayer. Jesus concludes, "Remember, my children, that daily prayer is not a duty, but a privilege. Through it, you come closer to me, to my Father, and to your true self. Make prayer a part of your life, and you will find peace, guidance, and love in every moment." Elaboration: encourage the reader to embrace daily prayer, not as a task, but as a privilege to be in God's presence. Through daily prayer, you open yourself to God's love and guidance, and you allow Him to walk with you in every moment. 2. The importance of consistency in prayer. Jesus emphasizes, consistency in prayer is the key to a strong relationship with God. Just as you speak to those you love every day, so too, speak to your Father in heaven. Elaboration: discuss how regular prayer brings spiritual strength and insight, allowing one to receive guidance, peace, and blessings. Explain that prayer is not just for times of need, but also for moments of gratitude and joy. Introduction: Jesus speaks. Consistency in prayer is the key to a strong relationship with God. Just as you speak to those you love every day, so too, speak to your Father in heaven. Elaboration: consistent prayer is the cornerstone of spiritual life. Just as daily communication strengthens relationships with those you love, so too, speaking to your Heavenly Father every day deepens your bond with Him. Prayer is not a mere ritual. It is an ongoing conversation that nurtures your soul and keeps your heart attuned to God's will. 2. Building a strong relationship through prayer. Jesus teaches, just as you would not ignore a loved one, do not neglect to speak to your Father each day. Prayer strengthens the bond between you and me, and through it, you draw closer to God's love and guidance. Elaboration: consistency in prayer builds trust and intimacy with God. When you pray regularly, you demonstrate your devotion and trust in His presence in your life. It is through these daily conversations that God's love and wisdom enter your heart, guiding you on the right path. 3. Strength and insight through regular prayer. Jesus encourages, when you pray consistently, you open your heart to receive strength, clarity, and peace. These gifts allow you to face the challenges of life with courage and grace. Elaboration: regular prayer brings spiritual strength and insight. In moments of doubt or struggle, it is through prayer that you find comfort and peace. The more often you pray, the more sensitive your heart becomes to God's voice, leading you to make wise choices and to experience the peace that comes with His presence. 4. Prayer in times of need and gratitude. Jesus reassures, prayer is not just for moments of need, but also for times of gratitude and joy. Remember to give thanks for the blessings I give you each day. Elaboration: consistent prayer is not only for times of distress or need. It is also a practice of gratitude. Through prayer, you can express your thanks for the blessings in your life, big and small. Recognizing God's presence in every moment, whether in times of hardship or joy, keeps your heart aligned with His will. 5. Prayer as a source of peace and assurance. Jesus reminds, in the consistency of your prayers, you find my peace. When you come to me daily, you are reminded that I am always here, guiding and supporting you. Elaboration: prayer is a powerful source of peace and assurance. Regular prayer keeps your heart at peace, knowing that God is listening, that He cares, and that He is guiding you through every situation. The consistency of prayer brings a deep, unshakable peace that strengthens you in all circumstances. 6. Establishing a daily prayer habit. Jesus encourages, let prayer become as regular as breathing. Make it a daily habit, and you will see how it transforms your life. Elaboration. Establishing a habit of daily prayer is essential for spiritual growth. Just as you cannot go a day without breathing, you should make prayer as natural as the air you breathe. The more consistently you pray, the more natural it becomes to turn to God for guidance, peace, and strength. 7. Conclusion. Embracing consistency in prayer. Jesus concludes, my beloved children, as you commit to praying consistently, you will see the power of prayer at work in your lives. It is not the number of words you say, but the sincerity and consistency with which you come to me each day. Elaboration. Embrace daily prayer as a vital practice. Through regular communication with God, you open yourself to His love, wisdom, and blessings. Consistent prayer will transform your life, bringing you closer to God's will and His divine peace. 3. The heart of prayer. Connecting with God. Jesus says, when you pray, do so with an open heart. Let your words come from the depths of your soul, for I know your heart even before you speak. Elaboration. Explain that prayer is not about formal words or rituals, but about heartfelt communication with God. True prayer comes from the heart and connects you to the divine presence, bringing comfort and clarity. 1. Introduction. Jesus speaks. When you pray, do so with an open heart. Let your words come from the depths of your soul, for I know your heart even before you speak. Elaboration. Prayer is not about rituals or formalities. It is about communication from the heart, an intimate connection with the divine. God is not concerned with the exact words you say, but with the sincerity behind them. When you pray with an open heart, you invite God's presence into your life, and He is there to listen and guide you. The power of heartfelt prayer. Jesus encourages. True prayer is not about your words, but the state of your heart. Speak to me as you would to a friend, with openness, honesty, and trust. Elaboration. Prayer is a personal conversation with God. It is not about using the right or perfect words, but about being genuine. When you come before God with a heart full of trust, He hears you. Heartfelt prayer opens the door to God's love and grace, allowing you to receive His peace, guidance, and support in every situation. 3. Prayer as a daily conversation. Jesus shares, make prayer a daily habit, a conversation that flows naturally. Speak to me in your joys and in your struggles. I am always here, listening and loving you. Elaboration. Prayer is not just for times of crisis. It is for every moment, whether you are experiencing joy or facing hardship. When you make prayer a daily habit, it becomes a continuous conversation with God. This constant communication keeps your heart attuned to God's will, allowing you to see His guidance in your life. 4. God knows your heart. Jesus assures, I know your heart even before you speak. There is no need for pretense or false words when you come before me. Speak from the heart, and I will hear you. Elaboration. God understands your heart even when you don't have the right words. You don't need to present a perfect prayer. You just need to be sincere. When your words are rooted in truth and love, God listens attentively. He desires authenticity, not perfection. 5. Prayer as a source of comfort and clarity. Jesus promises, through heartfelt prayer, I will bring you comfort and clarity. In moments of confusion, come to me, and I will show you the way. Elaboration. Prayer has the power to bring peace, comfort, and clarity. When you are unsure or struggling with life's challenges, prayer connects you to the divine presence that offers guidance and peace. The more heartfelt your prayer, the more clearly you can hear God's voice guiding you in your life. 6. The heart of prayer, God's invitation. Jesus says, I invite you to come to me with an open heart. Whether in joy or sorrow, I am always here to listen, guide, and comfort you. Elaboration. Prayer is God's invitation for you to connect with Him deeply. In prayer, God welcomes you, listens to your heart, and provides you with the peace that surpasses all understanding. Your heart, in its honesty and openness, is a place where God's presence can dwell and work miracles. 7. Conclusion. Embracing the heart of prayer. Jesus concludes, My beloved children, let your prayers come from the heart. Speak to me with sincerity, and I will be with you always, guiding you through every challenge and blessing. Elaboration. Embrace prayer as a means to connect deeply with God. True prayer is not about the right words, but the sincerity of your heart. Through heartfelt communication with God, you draw closer to His divine presence and experience His love and guidance in every moment of your life. 4. Different forms of prayer. Jesus shares, prayer can take many forms: silent contemplation, spoken words, song, or even a prayer of action. It is the intention and the heart behind the prayer that matters most. Elaboration. Discuss the different types of prayer: adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. Encourage the reader to find their personal style of praying that resonates with them and brings them closer to God. 1. Introduction. Jesus speaks. Prayer can take many forms: silent contemplation, spoken words, song, or even a prayer of action. It is the intention and the heart behind the prayer that matters most. Elaboration. Prayer is not bound by one specific method. It can be expressed in many different ways, each unique to the individual. What matters most is the intention and the sincerity of the heart. It is through these different forms of prayer that you are able to connect with God. And in doing so, you receive His love and guidance. 2. Adoration. Praising God's glory. Jesus encourages, adoration is the act of praising God for His greatness. It is a prayer that comes from the heart, filled with reverence and awe for the Creator. Elaboration. Adoration is an essential form of prayer that focuses entirely on God's greatness and majesty. It is an expression of love and gratitude for who He is and all He has done. Through adoration, you are reminded of His power and presence, which strengthens your faith and connection with Him. 3. Confession. Seeking forgiveness. Jesus shares, confession is not just about seeking forgiveness, but also about turning your heart toward God with repentance and humility. Elaboration. Confession is the act of acknowledging one's sins and asking for God's forgiveness. It is a deeply humbling prayer that brings spiritual renewal. Through confession, you open your heart to God, admit your shortcomings, and receive His grace and mercy. It is an important step in maintaining a pure relationship with the divine. 4. Thanksgiving, acknowledging God's gifts. Jesus encourages, thanksgiving is an expression of gratitude for the blessings you receive, both seen and unseen. Elaboration. Thanksgiving is the prayer of acknowledgement, where you express gratitude for all that God has done in your life. It is a prayer that reflects humility and joy. By giving thanks, you open your heart to the abundance of God's blessings, both in the visible and invisible aspects of life. 5. Supplication, asking for God's help. Jesus shares, supplication is the act of asking for what you need, trusting that God will provide according to His will. Elaboration, supplication is the prayer of asking, whether for personal needs, guidance, or the well-being of others. It is a prayer that shows dependence on God's provision. In supplication, you express your desires and needs, knowing that God will provide what is best in His perfect timing. 6. Prayer of action, living out your faith. Jesus teaches, prayer is not only words but also action. Your actions speak louder than your words. Let your life be a prayer to God through love and service to others. Elaboration. A prayer of action involves living out God's will in your daily life. It is about aligning your actions with your prayers, allowing the love and teachings of Christ to manifest in everything you do. This type of prayer shows your faith through acts of kindness, compassion, and service to others. 7. Finding your personal style of prayer. Jesus encourages, each of you has your own unique way to connect with me. Whether in silence, song, or in service, find the way that speaks to your heart. Elaboration. Prayer is deeply personal. Each person connects with God in their own way. Whether you pray in silence, through singing, through actions, or with spoken words, what matters is the intention behind it. Experiment with different forms of prayer and find the one that brings you closest to God and helps you feel His presence in your life. 5. The role of faith in prayer. Jesus encourages, when you pray, believe that what you ask will be granted. Faith opens the door to receiving blessings. Elaboration. Explain that prayer requires faith, the belief that God hears your prayer and will answer according to His divine will. Trust in God's timing and know that your prayers are always heard. Introduction. Jesus encourages, when you pray, believe that what you ask will be granted. Faith opens the door to receiving blessings. Elaboration. Prayer is deeply intertwined with faith. Without faith, prayer becomes just words. Faith is the belief that God hears and will respond to your prayers in His perfect timing and will. It is through faith that we open the door to miracles and blessings. 2. The power of belief in prayer. Jesus says, faith is the foundation of prayer. When you ask with a believing heart, you position yourself to receive. Elaboration. When you pray, believe that God is listening. Your faith in His ability to respond to your needs strengthens your connection with Him. Without belief, the act of prayer becomes empty, but with deep trust, you open yourself to receiving His grace and blessings. 3. Trusting God's will and timing. Jesus assures, when you pray, trust in my will. What you ask will be answered, but not always in the way you expect, for my timing is perfect. Elaboration. Prayer requires not only asking, but also trust. While we may ask for certain things, we must trust that God knows what is best for us and will provide according to His perfect plan. Faith helps us surrender to His will, knowing that His answer will come at the right time. 4. Faith as a key to receiving blessings. Jesus teaches, blessings are not always immediate, but they come when you have faith and patience. Do not waver in your belief, for your faith opens the door to receiving what you ask for. Elaboration. Faith is not a magic formula, but a key that unlocks God's blessings. When you trust in God's promises, you position yourself to receive His grace. Sometimes, the blessing may not come in the form we expect, but it always comes at the right moment and in the right way. 5. The role of faith in persistent prayer. Jesus encourages, Persistent prayer combined with unwavering faith brings forth the answers you seek. Continue to pray, believing that your Father hears and will provide. Elaboration. Persistence in prayer is crucial. Even if answers do not come immediately, faith encourages us to keep praying. The more we trust, the more we align ourselves with God's will, and in time, the blessings we seek will come. 6. Faith as a foundation for overcoming challenges. Jesus assures, when you face challenges, let your faith guide you. Believe that God is with you, and His strength will carry you through. Elaboration. Faith is not only important when things are going well, but is most essential in times of difficulty. Trusting that God is with you during challenging moments empowers you to face them with courage and strength. Faith reassures you that God is walking alongside you, even when the path seems difficult. 7. The role of faith in everyday prayer. Jesus teaches, in your daily prayers, believe that God is listening. Whether you pray for guidance, peace, or strength, your faith will open the door to the answers you seek. Elaboration. Faith is not just for big, life-changing moments. It is crucial in your daily prayers as well. Believing that God hears and responds to your daily petitions helps deepen your relationship with Him. Even in the small, everyday prayers, faith plays a key role in experiencing God's presence and blessings. 8. Conclusion. Jesus concludes, faith is the foundation of your prayers. When you pray with belief, you are opening yourself to the abundant blessings I have prepared for you. Continue to trust and pray in faith, and you will see my work in your life. Elaboration. Prayer and faith go hand in hand. The strength of your faith determines the depth of your prayer life. Trust that God hears you and will answer according to His will. Keep praying in faith and know that you are never alone. God is always with you. 6. Praying for others. Jesus says, pray not only for yourself, but for others. For in praying for others, you show love and compassion. Elaboration. Discuss the power of intercessory prayer. Praying for the needs of others. This not only helps others, but also strengthens the one praying by fostering a spirit of compassion and selflessness. Introduction. Jesus says, pray not only for yourself, but for others. For in praying for others, you show love and compassion. Elaboration. In your daily prayers, remember not only your own needs, but also the needs of others. Prayer is not just for your personal desires, but it is an opportunity to show love and care for those around you. When you pray for others, you act as a vessel of compassion, reflecting God's heart for all His children. 2. The importance of praying for others. Jesus teaches, praying for others is a powerful act of love. It opens your heart and reminds you that you are not alone in your struggles. Elaboration. When you pray for others, you step outside of yourself and focus on their needs, fostering a spirit of empathy and unity. Prayer connects us all, and it reminds us that we are a part of God's larger family. 3. Intercessory prayer as a form of love. Jesus says, when you pray for others, you offer them love without asking for anything in return. This is the heart of true intercession. Elaboration. Intercessory prayer is a selfless act where you place the needs of others before your own. It requires a heart of compassion and a desire to see others blessed and healed. True intercession flows from a deep love for others and reflects God's sacrificial love for all His children. The benefits of praying for others. Jesus assures, when you pray for others, you not only help them, but you also grow in faith and love. Elaboration. praying for others strengthens the one who prays. It fosters a spirit of humility as you recognize that you are a servant to others. It also deepens your connection with God as you align yourself with His will for the world and for His people. 5. Praying for healing and peace. Jesus encourages, "Pray for the healing of those who suffer, for in prayer, I can bring peace and restoration to their hearts." Elaboration. Praying for those who are sick or struggling with emotional turmoil is a powerful way to share God's love and bring comfort. God has the power to heal and restore, and through your prayers, He can work miracles in the lives of others. 6. Encouraging others through prayer. Jesus says, "Through prayer, you can lift the spirits of those who are weary, reminding them that they are not forgotten." Elaboration. Many times people feel lost or abandoned, especially in difficult times. Your prayers can remind them that God sees them, that they are loved, and that they are never alone. Through your intercession, you can help restore their hope and faith. 7. Praying for the lost and the struggling. Jesus reminds, "Pray for those who do not know me, that their hearts may be open to my love." Elaboration. Intercessory prayer is not only for those we love, but also for those who are lost or struggling in their faith. Through prayer, you can ask God to reveal Himself to them, to open their hearts to His love and salvation. 8. Conclusion. Jesus concludes, "When you pray for others, you are fulfilling my command to love one another. Through your prayers, you become instruments of my love, bringing hope, healing, and peace to the world." Elaboration. Praying for others is not just an act of kindness, but an essential part of your walk with God. It is through prayer that we can participate in God's work in the world, offering hope and comfort to those in need. 7. Caught in silence. Listening to God. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes the greatest answers come in silence when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Explain the importance of silence in prayer. Listening for God's response is just as important as speaking to Him. In moments of silence, God speaks to the soul, offering guidance, comfort, and wisdom. Introduction. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes, the greatest answers come in silence, when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Prayer is not only about speaking to God, but also about listening for His voice. In the busyness of life, we often forget to stop and listen. However, in moments of stillness and silence, God speaks to us in a way that words cannot describe. 2. The power of silence in prayer. Jesus reminds, "Silence is not emptiness. It is a sacred space where my presence fills your soul and guides your heart." Elaboration. In the silence of prayer, you are invited to rest in God's presence. Silence allows you to listen deeply to His voice and feel His closeness. Just as words can carry meaning, silence carries the fullness of God's presence and guidance. 3. God speaks in silence. Jesus speaks, "I speak not only in words, but in the silence of your heart. When you pause and listen, you will hear my voice guiding you." Elaboration. God often speaks in subtle ways that cannot be captured by human words. It is in moments of silence that you may receive clarity, guidance, and comfort. God's voice is gentle, and His wisdom comes to us when we make space for Him to speak. The importance of stillness in prayer. Jesus explains, "Stillness is a posture of the heart that welcomes my presence. It is in these moments that my guidance becomes clear." Elaboration. Silence and stillness in prayer are not signs of a lack of communication, but rather an openness to receive. In a world filled with distractions, stillness in prayer allows you to focus solely on God, receiving His guidance and love without interference. 5. Listening to God's voice. Jesus says, "Be still and listen, for in stillness I speak the deepest truths of the heart." Elaboration. God's voice does not always come in loud, dramatic ways. Often, His voice is soft, gentle, and subtle. It is through stillness and silence that you can tune into His voice, hear His truth, and receive the wisdom you need. 7. Caught in silence. Listening to God. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes the greatest answers come in silence when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Explain the importance of silence in prayer. Listening for God's response is just as important as speaking to Him. In moments of silence, God speaks to the soul, offering guidance, comfort, and wisdom. Introduction. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes, the greatest answers come in silence, when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Prayer is not only about speaking to God, but also about listening for His voice. In the busyness of life, we often forget to stop and listen. However, in moments of stillness and silence, God speaks to us in a way that words cannot describe. 2. The power of silence in prayer. Jesus reminds, "Silence is not emptiness. It is a sacred space where my presence fills your soul and guides your heart." Elaboration. In the silence of prayer, you are invited to rest in God's presence. Silence allows you to listen deeply to His voice and feel His closeness. Just as words can carry meaning, silence carries the fullness of God's presence and guidance. 3. God speaks in silence. Jesus speaks, "I speak not only in words but in the silence of your heart. When you pause and listen, you will hear my voice guiding you." Elaboration. God often speaks in subtle ways that cannot be captured by human words. It is in moments of silence that you may receive clarity, guidance, and comfort. God's voice is gentle, and His wisdom comes to us when we make space for Him to speak. The importance of stillness in prayer. Jesus explains, "Stillness is a posture of the heart that welcomes my presence. It is in these moments that my guidance becomes clear." Elaboration. Silence and stillness in prayer are not signs of a lack of communication, but rather an openness to receive. In a world filled with distractions, stillness in prayer allows you to focus solely on God, receiving His guidance and love without interference. 5. Listening to God's voice. Jesus says, "Be still and listen, for in stillness I speak the deepest truths of the heart." Elaboration. God's voice does not always come in loud, dramatic ways. Often, His voice is soft, gentle, and subtle. It is through stillness and silence that you can tune into His voice, hear His truth, and receive the wisdom you need. 7. Caught in silence. Listening to God. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes the greatest answers come in silence when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Explain the importance of silence in prayer. Listening for God's response is just as important as speaking to Him. In moments of silence, God speaks to the soul, offering guidance, comfort, and wisdom. Introduction. Jesus teaches, "In your prayers, remember to listen." Sometimes, the greatest answers come in silence when your heart is open to my voice. Elaboration. Prayer is not only about speaking to God, but also about listening for His voice. In the busyness of life, we often forget to stop and listen. However, in moments of stillness and silence, God speaks to us in a way that words cannot describe. 2. The power of silence in prayer. Jesus reminds, "Silence is not emptiness. It is a sacred space where my presence fills your soul and guides your heart." Elaboration. In the silence of prayer, you are invited to rest in God's presence. Silence allows you to listen deeply to His voice and feel His closeness. Just as words can carry meaning, silence carries the fullness of God's presence and guidance. 3. God speaks in silence. Jesus speaks, "I speak not only in words, but in the silence of your heart. When you pause and listen, you will hear my voice guiding you." Elaboration. God often speaks in subtle ways that cannot be captured by human words. It is in moments of silence that you may receive clarity, guidance, and comfort. God's voice is gentle, and His wisdom comes to us when we make space for Him to speak. The importance of stillness in prayer. Jesus explains, "Stillness is a posture of the heart that welcomes my presence. It is in these moments that my guidance becomes clear." Elaboration. Silence and stillness in prayer are not signs of a lack of communication, but rather an openness to receive. In a world filled with distractions, stillness in prayer allows you to focus solely on God, receiving His guidance and love without interference. 5. Listening to God's voice. Jesus says, "Be still and listen, for in stillness I speak the deepest truths of the heart." Elaboration. God's voice does not always come in loud, dramatic ways. Often, His voice is soft, gentle, and subtle. It is through stillness and silence that you can tune in to His voice, hear His truth, and receive the wisdom you need. 9. Conclusion. A life of prayer. Jesus concludes, "Let prayer be the foundation of your life. In every moment, turn to me in prayer, and I will always be with you." Elaboration. Encourage making prayer a daily habit, as it brings you closer to God and fills your life with grace, peace, and divine love. 1. Introduction. Jesus concludes, "Let prayer be the foundation of your life. In every moment, turn to me in prayer, and I will always be with you." Elaboration. Prayer is not just a practice for moments of need, but a way of life. When prayer becomes the foundation of your daily routine, it brings you closer to God, strengthens your spirit, and fills your life with divine grace and peace. 2. The daily habit of prayer. Jesus teaches, "Let your days begin and end with prayer. In the morning, seek my presence, and in the evening, give thanks for my guidance." Elaboration. Make prayer a habit in your daily life. Start each day by inviting God into your heart, and end each day by thanking Him for His presence and blessings. This practice allows God to be part of your every moment, offering peace and guidance throughout the day. 3. Prayer in every moment. Jesus assures, "I am with you in every moment, and through prayer, you draw closer to me." When you are joyful, pray with gratitude. When you are burdened, pray for strength. Elaboration. Prayer should be woven into the fabric of your life. Whether you are happy or sad, facing challenges or enjoying blessings, prayer connects you to God. It is in every moment of life that prayer strengthens your relationship with Him, drawing you ever closer. The power of consistent prayer. Jesus emphasizes, consistency in prayer strengthens your faith. When you pray regularly, your heart becomes more attuned to my voice and guidance. Elaboration. Consistency is key in prayer. Just as you need daily nourishment for your body, prayer nourishes your soul. Through consistent prayer, your faith is built and you begin to experience a deeper connection with God. 5. Prayer as a means of grace. Jesus speaks, "Through prayer, you open your heart to my grace. My love is ever abundant, and through your prayers, I pour my grace upon you." Elaboration. Prayer is a channel through which God's grace flows into your life. It is through prayer that you are able to receive His love, forgiveness, and blessings. Every prayer you offer opens the door for God's grace to enter and transform your heart. 6. Prayer and divine love. Jesus reminds, "As you pray, remember that you are enveloped in my divine love." It is through prayer that you become aware of my presence, and your heart is filled with the peace that only my love can provide. Elaboration. Prayer helps you experience the depth of God's love. It is a way of inviting His love into your heart, filling your life with warmth, comfort, and peace. As you spend time in prayer, you are reminded of His constant love and the unshakable peace that it brings. 7. The promise of God's presence. Jesus reassures, "In every prayer, know that I am with you. My presence is always near, and through prayer, you invite me to walk with you in every moment of your life." Elaboration. Prayer is a reminder that God's presence is never far from you. By praying daily, you invite God into the fabric of your daily life. His love, wisdom, and guidance are always available to you. And in prayer, you open the door for Him to guide you every step of the way.